Hi, you guys.
We are here with the girls today.
You want to say
Miss
hi?
Olivia, who just turned 3. Why the frowny face?
Do you want to
Yeah,
show
show us
everyone
your
your
smile.
pretty earrings?
Had to have her
see that
ears
right
pierced, and we warned her. We said, "Are you sure?" And she said, "Yes, I need my ears pierced." So we went and did the thing
Yep.
for this girl's 3rd birthday.
So we've been in Nebraska for a week now. It will be 10 days by the time we leave on Monday. So we celebrated Liv's 3rd birthday on July 1st, Zoe's baptism on June 30th. Sorry, I'm going to mute this.
We've got the computer here so we can reply to comments. We have the phone set up here and the computer here. It's always a little bit complicated.
It's just easier to keep up with comments if we can see them on the computer because they kind of disappear really quickly on here. So if we're glancing over, that's why.
Plus we can't we can't type on the phone, so
yes, we are in
pretty face.
We're in Nebraska and it's just too perfect out, especially compared to like the Florida hot, humid summers.
Yeah.
It's usually similar here, but it's been very a little bit cooler, like 80s instead of 99.
Right.
And less humidity. So we're like, let's just sit out in their pretty backyard.
Yep.
Maybe we'll film a little bit of footage of their yard like we always do and put it into a future video for you guys. But
yeah, people always want a backyard tour because Erin's dad is a plant crazy guy, kind of like us. He's got a greenhouse and just the landscaping back here is so awesome. So
let me see here who we've got. If anyone, everyone can put where they're from. We see a lot of people are already putting where they're from.
Georgia,
and then also,
South Africa.
If you can also mention
Pennsylvania.
What is your favorite seasonal fruit right now? There's so many good ones.
Yeah.
We've been having so much watermelon, cotton candy grapes, cherries, berries. What's your favorite seasonal fruit? Mangoes.
Right. Mangoes.
So we've got Kara from St. Louis, Christina from Belgium.
Do we need to go in, honey?
Ariel from
inside.
Pennsylvania.
Me and Mom have to do this phone call.
Yep.
You hold the baby.
Okay, we're shifting.
Shift. Okay, here's this one. I know.
Sorry, guys. Time for the grandmas to take over. Usually, the cool thing is, this is very unique for most families, I would say. Our moms are like best friends and they live just minutes apart from each other. They didn't know each other before Dusty and I, but since we got married, they have become very close, which is kind of unique and really cool because then when we do family gatherings, we don't ever have to divide. We're always together, so it's super cool. So that's one perk of being back home is having the grandmas to keep up with the kids and give us a little bit of a break.
Liv does that every time we start a phone call. She thinks she needs to.
Yeah, that's what we're currently struggling with is
middle child syndrome.
I think she's kind of just like reverting a little bit, regressing. She wants to be the baby. Yesterday, for example, we went for a walk and usually Zoe is in the bassinet stroller that the neighbors let us borrow, but I carried Zoe and Liv laid down like a baby in the bassinet and I pushed her and she fell asleep. I lugged her upstairs and I just like, it breaks my heart. So
it's hard.
It's hard.
We're dealing with that. We knew it would happen a little bit. You know, you hear about that with the middle child when the third is born, and it's difficult.
She gets her fair share of live time, and she's always in the spotlight. So I think we're doing our best.
Right. She also picks the time that she knows. We're like, okay, me and Mom have to do a 1-hour phone call or a 30-minute phone call. And she knows, and that's the time she decides that she's gonna like.
She wants milk.
Right. She needs to breastfeed, or she needs to. Anyway.
Oh, okay. It looks like Stacy is on. Local peaches, Indiana.
Oh yeah.
Oklahoma. Kathleen says watermelon.
We get good peaches here in Nebraska. We were growing a bunch out at Erin's grandparents a couple summers ago, and we had 2 to eat one year. It was sad. We had like our whole dining room table covered in peaches, and we were trying our best. We were mono mealing peaches.
Yeah.
They're hard to beat.
Danielle, hi from Australia. What time is it
Wow.
there? Favorite fruit is custard apple. We had those in.
Oh, yeah.
We've had them from Miami Fruit and in Costa Rica.
Yeah.
Kara says, so normal, and you guys are doing a wonderful job. Thank you. Appreciate the vote of confidence.
Thank you.
Cohen always gets hungry when it's time to do homeschool work.
Right.
Kids know what they're doing. Very,
Talk about
very
over-consuming vitamins. Yeah, I think we'll get to some questions, but first, should we just do a little? Erin and I always kind of come with a topic, a few things that we want to talk about. You guys know that first and foremost, our membership has been so much fun. We've got a few hundred members now, which is amazing and fun to see people communicating with each other on the private Facebook group. The platform that we run the membership on also has a feature where we do challenges weekly and challenges. We did a 10,000 steps challenge. We just started a whole food challenge, and then of course every Friday we do a live Zoom call. So not like this, but Zoom. So we actually get to communicate, see each other's faces, talk, have questions answered, and that's been the most fun. It's energizing for all of us.
It doesn't matter what our week has been like or what our day has been like. When we get on those calls, we always leave feeling like I've got the energy I needed for the day. I feel super uplifted. High vibes all the way around.
And everybody feels that way.
Yeah, as I think where you're going with it is that we always lead with some type of like inspirational talk.
Yeah.
And I was telling Dusty, because I woke up super early this morning to go to Fly, which is a local fitness studio I used to work at here. I was actually one of the founding instructors.
Yeah.
We did our training in Jenny's basement. Jenny is the founder of Fly Fitness.
Yeah.
So we were training in her basement with her kitty. So I still love to go back and do spin classes, and she was just talking about she's a big stickler about like the Apple Watches or the wearables because she feels like they can actually inhibit you because they keep you kind of within this confines of like, am I where I need to be? As opposed to like just putting your hand on your chest and feeling your heartbeat. You know if you're working hard or not, and I think a lot of that comes down to just your intuition and just holding yourself accountable.
Oh,
we don't need to.
Sound is cutting out. Shoot. Let me see. I want to make sure.
Is it a Wi-Fi thing?
Yeah, if we could probably go on cellular. I'm not sure that turned it off. Okay, so let's see. Hopefully now the sound will get better. The Wi-Fi up here, because we're outside, might be tricky.
So
if you guys,
cell should be better.
Yeah, cell service should be better up here. So if it cuts out or gets worse, let us know either way if it gets better. So yeah, anyway, go ahead. Hopefully you guys have been able to hear enough.
Yeah. Going back to, the Apple Watches, which we both wear ours, and it is nice to be able to kind of learn to read your body by having one. You learn your heart rate and your zones and all of that.
Yep.
But then at a certain point, you've got to break free from that in the same way as like we always talk about not being calorie obsessed or calorie consumed, but instead to be calorie conscious. So once you've learned and educated yourself on like caloric density of like a tablespoon of olive oil is 100 calories, whereas a banana is also 100 calories. Which would you rather be snacking on?
Yep.
So once you educate yourself, move beyond the app that counts your calories and your nutrition. Move beyond the wearables when you're exercising. Move beyond whatever you're wearing to track your sleep. And just tap into your intuition. Put your hand on your chest, like I said. Feel your heartbeat and just recognize that you don't need somebody else or something else to guide you or to tell you if you are enough or if you're doing enough, because you know within if you're working hard enough or not. And Jenny had also said this, this is why we don't do leaderboards in the class either, because you're not comparing yourself to someone else or trying to measure up or comparing yourself down and saying, oh, at least I'm better than so-and-so. We all are guilty of doing this.
Right.
It can definitely put things into perspective, either for better or for worse.
Yeah.
But the only person you should truly have to answer to is yourself.
Right.
And so that just really resonated with me, and it got me super motivated and inspired to just go extra hard in that class. Whereas if I was looking at my watch, maybe I wouldn't have been, because
It's important too, because I think you especially are competitive, and so it can be hard for people that are competitive to go into situations like that where you thrive on the leaderboard, you thrive on the competition, you thrive on beating your best time. And even like Erin's brother came in the house a couple days ago, and he was like, he went for a run, and I went for a run this morning. And I don't run a lot, but he of course wanted to know how fast, like how far do you go and how fast do you go, and it's always about like comparison, and it's like, well, I don't want to tell you how fast I can go because I went really slow and I wasn't trying to go fast. But it's tricky, because it's like, yeah, we want to improve, we want to be our best, but honestly, when I go out for runs like I did for today, I was running 10-minute miles. Like I could probably run 8-minute miles, and I know I can because I have, but I'm like touching the trees as I'm running by, and I'm like smelling the fresh air, and I'm just feeling good. And for me, that's what I want out of a workout. And so everybody's different for sure, but I do think that it's important to occasionally, take the headphones off. And I purposely didn't track my workout. Yesterday we went to the gym with a friend, and I didn't turn anything on. I didn't time it. I didn't track, anything. We just hung out. We lifted weights together, and we mostly talked. And so I think that is important. It's not, and he was way stronger than me. He's bigger and taller and stronger, and I could have let that affect my ego, but I didn't. And he ended up pushing me to show. I was able to show myself, how strong I actually was, and it was just interesting. It wasn't like a typical workout, but I left feeling great. I got some socialization in, and still was able to push myself, and so.
Yep. Yeah, I think too with food, going back to that, it's just a lot of us have all these questions, and we're looking to someone else to tell us the perfect macronutrient ratio, or how do we know we're getting enough of this, and this.
Right.
And we get so brainy that, yes, food is fuel ultimately, but it's also meant to be enjoyed. And I think that can take a lot of the joy out of living when we get so caught up in the numbers and the math and the trying to pick it all apart. And it's like the difference between like a science mind versus like a faith mind. Like you need a little bit of both, but like they don't need to be at odds. You need to find like a middle ground where you're educated, but you're also trusting yourself. And you're also able to find it within yourself to, for example, we hear a lot like, well, my kids would never get on board with this, so I can't do it. Or my spouse is just can't stand it. He can't go a day without his meat or whatever. And honestly, it does not matter. Like even if Dusty wasn't doing it, or if I wasn't doing it, we would be doing this for ourselves. And I think that's really empowering to hear, really exciting to hear. Also, maybe a little bit of a tough pill to swallow for some of us who are still stuck in the but stage. So if you can get past that and just say, you know what, I've had it. I'm making this choice, this decision. I'm going to be dedicated and committed because this is what I want. And that's what it truly takes. And if you're not there yet, that's okay.
Do you want me to slide over so you're not getting hit in the face with sun?
Sure.
It looks like you might be getting some eyes. I love that too. And I think that's a huge question that we get from our followers and even our our group members. They come in and they're like, the number one question that we continue to get is, what if I am all alone in this? How do I do this if I don't have my spouse isn't on board? I don't have a community. I don't have all of these things. Number one, that's why we start the online community, to offer, some support. but also to say, look, we are all on our own. Ultimately, we're all on our own here. And, you know, I struggle with my mental health and all these things, and Erin struggles with different, you know, things personally, and she brings them up to me, and sometimes I just don't get it, and vice versa. We're ultimately all on our own here. And I think that can be scary and you know, concerning, of course, but it also can be energizing to say, I don't need anyone. You know, like we just said, trust yourself, have that faith, and just stick with it. You know, whatever it is, if it's
And
the workouts, if it's the diet.
That brings something to mind that we forgot to announce as well, and that is that the plant-based bundle just launched.
Yep.
So if you are looking for your, you know, personal little jumping off point to go plant-based, or maybe just find some more oomph, find a way to get reignited, re-inspired, re-educated, find new recipes if you're in a recipe slump.
Yeah.
This could be an incredible place to start. So you're basically getting over $4,000 worth of recipe ebooks, meal plans, nutrition courses, fitness guides, like above and beyond, like something that would have been super helpful for us when getting started.
Yeah.
You're getting it all for only $50. And a lot of people are like, but wait, that's too good to be true, or it's probably not that awesome, or like, what's the catch?
Yep.
But truly, there is no catch. Like, we thought that the first handful of times
we
saw it come
avoided
around,
doing the bundle because we thought they wanted us to put our ebook in the bundle, and we were like, this is weird, because we create our ebook, right, and we're like, well, hopefully people buy this, and now all of a sudden we're selling our ebook for basically like a penny. And so I guess it's less about, you know, how can we make a bunch of money, and it's more about like all of us influencer vegan plant-based friends putting this all out for you guys. So if you are struggling, you know, feeling like I don't have the support, or I don't have the recipes, or I don't even know where to start, this is something you guys should definitely check out. It only comes around twice a year.
Over 100 resources for only $50. The
Yep.
only catch, if you want there to be a catch,
Yeah.
is that the offer ends July 14th.
Yeah.
Then all of the ebooks go back to their owners and back to their regular price. So our 3-day juice feast, which is in the bundle, will go
Yep.
back to, you know, $12.99. And so, you know,
You
there's
can't
courses
even buy
in there
all
for
of our ebooks.
there's courses in there for $1.99, for example. So even if you have our content,
Yep.
or even if you're only interested in maybe a couple, it's still an amazing value. You're still saving so much money. And then if you're feeling overwhelmed, like, what would I do with all of that? You could either do what we do and just download all of them at once and put them on either a separate hard drive or on the cloud,
Yep.
so you can access them from anywhere, or just pick and choose. You have up to 1 year to download what you want. So we just say, play it safe, grab them all right away, put them on a hard drive. They're there for life.
I'm actually always surprised, and I'm not just saying this, I'm always surprised at how many people message us the day after the sale's over, and we don't control the sale. Our friends who actually live in Spain put it together and contact all of us. We've got a really good group of other plant-based YouTuber friends and stuff. People always message us and they're like, oh my gosh, I missed the bundle, is it still available? And we're like, nope. We're like, sorry, maybe like in November. I think it comes back in November. But anyway, don't delay, check it out. It's definitely worth it. That's where we go for recipe inspiration.
And one of the requirements too, I'll add this, is that we submit something we haven't had in the bundle before. So we've always had a different ebook, and this time it's our 3-day juice feast.
Yep.
Many of them have never been seen before. New courses.
Yep.
I wouldn't say good friend, but our friend Jillian Berry, who we are hoping to connect with in person soon,
Yeah.
Has a course in there that's pretty cool and brand new.
So many good ebooks.
And also, you want to mention the giveaway?
Oh yeah, and this is something that just Erin and I do. Like I said, because the bundle is so affordable, it's not like we're making millions and millions of dollars. It's kind of a competition for us influencers to be like, whose followers are the most loyal. So for you guys, for our followers, if you buy through my and Erin's link, we personally are going to give one lucky winner their choice of a blender or juicer, Vitamix or Nama juicer.
So $500 value.
Yeah.
You get automatically entered when you buy. The link is in the description of this video.
Right.
It's also in our link in bio on
Right.
Instagram.
And because we don't
so
have millions of followers, your chances are honestly pretty good.
Yeah.
And but again,
It's going down.
it's fun for us to kind of compete with our fellow influencer friends and see how many of our followers buy through our link. So if you guys are feeling it and you want to support us, that's just kind of a fun thing that we always do for the bundle, is that giveaway. And then if you're not already, our membership, like I just mentioned, is the next best place. You know, $89 gets you like so much. Definitely go check that out. We'll put a link in the description. We could talk about all these things for forever, but we've got so many questions.
We've got a few questions populating here. Let's dive into some Q&A. Like, anything goes, you guys.
Anything.
Like, we can get juicy with it if you want.
The screen is...
I think my phone's just getting overheated.
Yeah, it's...
Or not
let me check the battery.
just,
oh, we got plenty of battery. Yeah, the screen just dims.
Just because it's warm outside.
The screen dims down when it's warm. So anyway, hopefully...
Freezing?
Oh,
Okay.
that's because I did the thing.
Oh.
Hopefully you all can still see us and hear us. It froze for a second because I checked the battery.
Here. Oh, okay. A couple good ones. Really quick, simple answers. One question: when's the hardcover book coming?
Yes.
From Crystal, who has been a longtime follower and supporter. Hey, Crystal.
Hey, Crystal. Yes, Christmas. Book is coming out for Christmas.
We have been combing through it, editing very fine-tuned things now, and they've given us a sneak peek at the layout. It's
so exciting.
It's awesome. We can't say much more than that, but
we're always pinching ourselves. Honestly, I forget about it because we've had it finished now for a few months, and so we just sent it off, and we don't really hear much. And then occasionally we'll get a message that's like, "Hey, we need you guys to look through this or approve that." And yeah, we're so excited. Target, it's going to be Target, Barnes & Noble, all the places, and it's like a dream come true. So yeah, look forward to that, you guys. That would be another awesome way to support us. If you guys dig our content and you know, buy the book when it comes out, man, that would be huge.
Question here: are we still planning to do a retreat in Italy? And
oh man,
we kind of were, you know, we put things on hold this year because of baby Zoe entering the world, so we're just focusing on like how do we navigate life as a family of 5. But hopefully we're really wanting to expand beyond Costa Rica next year, because Brian and Jody, who own Farm of Life where we were hosting, have since then sold the retreat center. So it was kind of like divine timing. Like Zoe enters the world, they sell the retreat, and so yeah, we're wanting to expand. You know, it'd be fun to find another place in Costa Rica, but we're really excited about looking around in places in Europe, maybe Bali, even though it's hard to do that with kids because they get around on scooters everywhere they go.
Let's see, Sandra just asked about South Africa. Yes, we've talked about a South Africa retreat with safaris and ocean cleanups. We have so many options. We've got really great connections for retreats, people that would help us host and organize. So we've had Bali almost pretty much lined up, and then COVID hit, so that got canceled. We had South Africa, talks about South Africa, Italy, Portugal. We really just
the main thing is wanting to get it to the price point where it's like accessible for as many people as possible, but also something that's like we could afford to take off work, fly our whole family there.
Yeah.
And then we've also been looking into Florida, maybe even family style, like weekend or day long retreats, you know, where we give a couple of hotel options in the vicinity, and then we meet during the day. Maybe we do like HIIT workouts on the beach or yoga on the beach, and then we meet by the pool and have a fun plant-based raw food bar, you know, things like that. So we're kind of still trying to get all the kinks worked out and find something that feels really solid and doable.
Totally.
And then here's a good question from Malis.
Did you start at the top? Because there's been a lot of questions.
Yeah, I think it's mostly just people saying where they're from.
Okay, good.
But we have a question. Any concerns about sharing your kids online? No judgment, just curious.
For sure,
I feel like it comes and goes. Like sometimes I feel really like, I don't know if we should do this forever. And other times I'm like, you know what? This is like our family home videos that we're creating. and we love to look back on them. The kids love to watch them.
Yeah.
But at some point, like long-term goals would be to, you know, maybe just continue doing the videos in like a private members only area, and then kind of transition to something a little bit more mature here and evolving into like podcast, even just the two of us sitting down and talking, but then also having guests would be really, really
I think especially
awesome.
as Max now, you know, grows up, I don't want them to be as recognizable. We do get some weird followers, and we have had some sketchy conversations with messages from people. But that being said, we're very protected at home. You know, we've got the high security, all the things we have, so we feel safe. We have connections and all lawyers and even local police and all the things. Like, we feel safe, but I just don't want the kids to get to the point where they are maybe teased or, you know, made fun of and stuff like that. Not that that is a thing or would be, but you never know. So
I always kind of look at the bucket list family, if you guys follow them.
Yeah, the bucket list.
And it's kind of who we are.
Yeah.
And we've always treated our children as an extension of us, not as like, oh, they're a burden, let's leave them with grandma and grandpa for our retreat or for our vacation.
They've always come with us.
They do everything with us.
Yeah.
And even in the Bible, I mean, God basically said, like, we are to be the ones that teach our children, guide our children. Like, we don't need to be handing them off for other people to educate and discipline and all of these things. So, like, it's really difficult to create content without them. But we're definitely not like the showboat parents that are like pushing our kids into doing this. Like, for example, Liv wants to sit on our laps for every single thing we do, and it's like, it's just hard to find that balance. So yeah,
and we've got friends even here locally that work, you know, again, like security measures. We have a friend that knows how to sweep the web for any and all, you know, sketchy activity and things. So we have the right connections to feel safe, you know, to keep the kids safe, and that makes us feel okay. But you know, it's one of those things where we also kind of want to evolve our content. You know, as the family grows, like Erin said, Erin and I really wanted to do a podcast. She and I have a lot more to say than just, you know, what we eat in a day videos. You know, you guys have probably seen what we eat 100 times, and it doesn't really change. And so we're like, what if we did a podcast? You know, we could have more in-depth conversations about, you know, health and family and faith and
I like how
all
Rich
the
Roll
things.
said it early on in his podcast. He's like, this is just like the world's greatest hack. Like, I get to sit down with some of the most well-respected, well-educated, well-known individuals and learn all of their secrets. Like, ultimately, it's benefiting him too, you know? Like, he's learning so much. He can he can ask his own personal questions to experts on every topic.
But the cool thing is we all have those same questions, you know? So
he's just the conduit.
So we're thinking the same. We're like, there's so many people that have all these questions, and now with that, you know, we have you guys as followers. I think a podcast would be cool. We could pool all of your questions, our own questions, and get expert answers. And I know that there's a million podcasts out there, but we're unique. You know, we have a unique perspective because we are a couple. There aren't a lot of couples that are doing these things, and a lot of families that are doing these things. So I think we could have a very unique podcast and perspective and a unique audience. You guys are unique too. So yeah, that's
just
something.
Because there's a lot of something it shouldn't ever like dissuade you. In fact, it should do the opposite. It should say, wow, there are so many pieces to the pie, and I'm gonna take mine. You know, like there's room for all of us, and we all bring something different.
Which is another thing we've talked about too, is going beyond our membership. We have so many people always asking about learning to do the things that we do, whether it's YouTube or podcasts or, you know, make money online. And because you guys know we do sponsored ads and things, we've been able to turn our passion into our business, and so we've also thought about that too. How can we, you know, kind of adapt our platform into a place that could benefit you guys? You know, how could we teach, you know, those of you that may be interested in starting your own channel or even just Instagram or any of that would be really fun and really meaningful for us to get to help people, find that financial freedom. So
You got about 3 questions from Sandra about how can one enjoy plain avocado pears, and one about how can you get good fats besides avocado pears.
I'm gonna turn just a
So
little
I'm
bit,
guessing,
'cause I am getting
I'm assuming
some
that
sun.
you mean avocados,
Yeah.
like maybe pear avocados.
I think
I'm not
Sandra's
sure.
in South Africa and they call avocados avocado pears.
We
I think
always,
had this conversation once.
I mean, avocados are pretty plain and
Yeah.
boring by themselves, but we just usually just add salt and pepper and whip it up.
Yep.
Like guacamole consistency, but you don't have to put in like onions, tomatoes, cilantro, lime, all the stuff. We just do salt and pepper, whip it up, and put it on a salad like that, or
Yep.
dip veggies in it like that.
Salt and
But other
pepper.
fats would be your best as far as omega-3 fatty acids, which are super important because most of us are getting too much omega-6. So if you want more omega-3s, just focus on chia and flax. As far as nuts go, walnuts are your best source.
Yeah.
You can also, almonds are really healthy. Hemp seeds are fantastic. They're a complete protein. So
Yeah.
I would say those, and we always just end up putting them on smoothie bowls, or
Right.
like with chia and flax specifically, you want to make sure that they're ground up, fresh ground. Otherwise, you won't get that omega-3 benefit. You'll just be getting the fiber benefit because they
Right.
need to actually be ground up. They can't actually digest otherwise. They just go straight through you.
Yep.
So
Yeah, avocado's tricky because it is such a bland flavor, but it's also nice because it's kind of a blank canvas. So, we've done a lot of things with avocado, from, simple guacamole to the chocolate pudding, which is amazing, by the way. You add a little cacao and maybe a little bit of maple syrup and mix it in with avocado, and the kids go crazy for that. So,
we've
yeah,
got
but usually we just keep it simple.
H put in a little 100 emoji and said, eating your black bean burger right now.
Nice.
That's awesome. We just made those 2 nights
We
ago.
just made them here, yeah.
We've got Andrea Berglund from our Costa Rica retreat.
Nice.
Miss
Hey,
you
Andrea.
guys.
I was just
We miss
watching
you
your
too.
stories, Andrea. You were running, and I was motivated, so I went out for a run too.
Andrea's got a super cool job. She's a traveling nurse. So like every week we're like, where's she at now? Like watching her stories.
Yeah,
So many cool adventures. That would be such an awesome job.
yeah.
I had there's a hello from Nebraska.
Nice. Locals.
Aisha Lynn Cook. Awesome. And
Let's see.
okay, I'm getting kind of mixed up in the questions here. Let's see where we got.
I know we had some really good ones. I can see
Heather
them here for like
Brown.
a second, and then they disappear, so we got to look at the computer over here.
Heather Brown said, sadly, we don't have healthy food restaurants around, and with so many events we are at with church and family, it's hard to keep all packaged food out. How
It's
do
tough.
you do it?
It's tough.
I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I always just say fast fruit. Fast fruit is nature's fast food.
Right.
And there are so many fruits that are pre-packaged, designed for like grabbing and going. The banana being like the best example.
Yep.
Apples, oranges.
Yep.
Like if nothing else, if all else fails, we always grab one for each family member and throw them in a cooler bag along with veggie sticks and like some hummus or some guac, like I said. Our little scout bars for the kids.
Yep.
But we always make sure to arm ourselves with that fast fuel so that we don't feel like we are running on E to the point where you get ravenous and then you cave and eat something that you didn't want to eat, but you're too hungry. So
And 2 other things. Pancakes,
Oh, yeah.
waffles. They're the same exact recipe. We just simply either put a pancake on the griddle or we put a waffle in the waffle iron.
and
you
they're
guys
made
have
from all whole foods.
all whole foods. So oats, some soy milk, some mashed up bananas, all the healthy chia, hemp, flax seeds. And they last in the fridge, for a couple days. So if you're gonna be out going to events, church events, whatever the thing, throw some waffles in we have these really cool reusable Ziplocs that we throw, a handful of waffles in with the fruit, like Erin mentioned. We've got plenty of fuel while we're out and about. And
Dates.
Yep.
If you don't have anything fresh, they keep really well.
This
and
is
then
like
we've
our
done like
airplane
the
food.
mason jar meals where we layer in, like we'll put a dressing at the bottom, then layer on the quinoa, and then like every color chopped diced veggie of the rainbow, layered, layered.
Yeah.
Squish in some greens on the top.
Yeah.
Screw it closed. You can make a whole lineup of those for the whole family or for yourself for 5 days.
Right.
And just grab and go.
So
and then you
good.
just pour it into a bowl, mix it up. You've got that dressing sitting on the bottom, and it's so good. Or like put a lemon wedge on the top and screw the lid on, and squeeze
you
that
guys
and
can
mix
find
it.
these if you want everything. Literally, we took all of our ebooks and everything off of the store, and we put it all in the membership. So again, for $89, you get our recipe app. You get every recipe book we've ever made. You get a call like this every Friday with us. If you guys need these recipes, if you want these, for sure you can find most of them on YouTube. Go back, but sometimes it's kind of hard to filter through. So if you want the actual recipes, join our membership. You'll get to talk to us weekly. You'll get the accountability, and you get to talk to each other. My favorite thing is seeing other people ask these same questions, and instead of just asking us, you get hundreds of people in our membership and all of their answers too.
And if you think about it like this, like we've had people ask, well, I just want the app. I don't need the other stuff. Well, the unfortunate truth is that it would be the same cost.
Right.
So we're basically giving you an app that continues to grow and get updated, but you're also getting all of these fringe benefits that are
with it
easily as valuable as the app itself.
Right.
So I think just having an app that also has the accountability piece is like unbeatable.
Totally. So again, all of these things we're talking about, the recipes, you can find them on YouTube. It's all free for you guys. But if you want them easier to find and the community aspect, join the membership. You guys won't regret it. All right, let's get caught up on these. We're getting so many questions.
Natasha, best tips for plant-based on a budget?
Yeah.
I would say when you buy in bulk.
Yeah, buy in bulk.
Get yourself a case of bananas, let them ripen, peel them, freeze them. You've got your base of calories for smoothies.
Yep.
And then, buy your bulk beans, rice, whole grains.
Yep.
All of that stuff is super, super affordable. You go to any ethnic market and you're gonna see the bags massive 50-pound bags.
Or Costco.
For super cheap.
Join Costco.
Yeah,
we did not want to join Costco for the longest time because I wasn't sure if they had organic and all these things. Well, I did it. We joined, and I have not regretted it. It's so affordable to join, and you really save money, and you buy in bulk.
And then the frozen fruit too.
Go back and watch the Costco
Big
video.
bags.
We need to do another Costco video. If you guys would like to see another Costco food haul, comment, let us know. Maybe we'll do another one because that's the best way to eat a plant-based diet on a budget.
I know a lot of people are like, well, I don't have access to that fresh fruit, or all I can get is frozen. But frozen oftentimes is just as nutritious, if not more, because they harvest it when it's ripe at its peak, and then they flash freeze it so it's locked in.
Right.
Sometimes you buy berries, and by the time you get around to eating them 2 days later, they're already moldy and rotten, and it's like they do you no good at that point.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Heather, I need to get the membership as soon as, let's see.
We get funds.
Funds. Love it. Yep, totally.
Awesome.
It's worth it, you guys. And it's so much fun for us,
Tina asked, what do you think about the food in the Bible? This is funny because I was actually talking to my grandma yesterday.
Yeah.
We were on our mastermind call, and the guy who leads it, I don't know if you guys know Shane Sterling.
Yeah.
Anyways, I was asking my grandma, how old do you think he is? And she didn't guess right. Obviously, nobody guesses right. And he looks like he's in his 40s, and he's 50. And
I would say he looks like he's in his 30s.
I was telling her he eats a raw food diet, and she's like, well, not raw meat. And I was like, no, Grandma, only fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds.
Yeah.
As close to their natural state
raw
as possible.
vegan
Yeah. He doesn't cook he wouldn't cook sweet potatoes or steam his veggies. It's just all raw. Or if he were to eat quinoa or lentils, they're sprouted, so they've never been cooked. And she sat and thought about it for 10 minutes, and I didn't know she was still thinking about it because I was making a meal. And she's like, well, I guess that's what they did in the Garden of Eden. I was like,
that's what
exactly.
She said?
Yep.
Totally.
I said, you got it right there. That is the whole
That's the whole
basis
premise
of it. So when we talk about in the Bible. I know a lot of people can like argue till they're blue in the face, but like, yes, we don't know if Jesus ate fish or not. Like, people say it, but then if you watch the new movie Christspiracy,
Is that out?
they
Is
disprove it.
Christspiracy out?
I don't
That's a
know,
really
but if you
good
guys
one.
haven't watched it, you can also watch. The creator of the documentary is on a debate on Ellen Fisher's podcast channel.
Yeah.
It's really, really good.
Yeah.
I haven't finished it, but so yeah, we could argue all day, but like if you go way, way back to the Garden of Eden where, everything was essentially perfect before the fall, it was the wrong
And
food.
let's say God does give us, permission or, to eat animals, it doesn't mean you have to. And it doesn't mean that it's the healthiest. If you read Daniel in the Bible, you've probably heard about the Daniel plan, which I do not recommend because it's not, the people that put the Daniel plan diet together did not do it, did not do it justice. They've got some terribly unhealthy foods in the actual Daniel plan that if you like Google search it. But if you go to the Bible and read the book of Daniel, you'll read the story about, oh, honey.
Oh, I think this was bumping her.
Oh, sorry. You'll read the actual, what it says in Scripture, and that these vineyard workers decided that they were only going to eat vegetables. They weren't going to drink the wine, and they weren't going to eat meat. And it literally says, like, their skin was clear, and they were the healthiest workers, ever. And it was like, wow, that's an interesting little tidbit that, chose that was chosen to make it into the holy word of God, So yes, we can eat a lot of things, but what is best? What's going to make us feel best and make us live longest and feel our best? That's, for me, if I felt like I really needed fish and decided to eat fish, that's one thing. I'm not a dogmatic, religious vegan. I do really care about the ethics of veganism, but I really think that at the end of the day, what we all need to, instead of promoting veganism, what we need to promote is health, and just say, look, if Erin's dad, can't give up his meat or chooses not to, let's find a common ground and let's all agree that we can all eat more, vegetables, right? More plant food, and let's agree on that, and less arguing, and let's find the common denominator. And so yeah, whatever Scripture says, whatever the Bible says, whatever Islam, like all of these religions say, like what's the common denominator? Can we just agree that we all want to look and feel our best? So yeah.
We've got a good question from Kayla here. Do you guys have any tips for staying motivated, especially with extreme limitations with time? Thank you so much, you guys.
Yeah.
I would say the number one motivator for me has just been when I started to feel good, which was pretty immediate.
Right.
And the better and better I felt, the less and less I desired to go back or to be tempted by foods that didn't serve me, foods that were hindering me, no longer appealed to me. So I think that was the biggest motivator. And then also, sometimes you have those down days, especially like as simple as a sleep-deprived day.
Yeah.
You can feel like, what am I doing?
Right.
I don't know if this is right anymore. And you start to doubt yourself, and you start to do this stinking thinking.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's where like the membership and the accountability piece really has been key.
Even for us.
And
even yesterday, I felt lousy. I was so tired, and I even said it on our membership group. And the cool thing about the membership is that it's a much smaller community, so there's still a lot of people in that community. But here on YouTube, we've got 160 or however many thousand subscribers. It's fun to get to talk face to face on the Zoom, right? We wouldn't be able to Zoom with all of you guys, our YouTube audience, because there's simply too many. But when it comes to needing motivation and feeling energized, I told them yesterday I was exhausted. We've had so many like parties and meetups and golf outings and all the things since we got back to Nebraska. But after our call yesterday, I was invigorated. I always am. Mm-hmm. And I'm not just saying it. Definitely. It's because we're like-minded, and we're talking about energy and fun and life. And yeah, we talked about food once in a while, but but we always go beyond the kale to talk about, you know, what really matters, you know?
And I feel like, you know, there's two sides to the coin. Like we can either want change for ourselves because we want to lose weight, or because we feel guilty for overeating, we beat ourselves up in the gym the next day. Or you can flip the script and say, I see this as a lifestyle of abundance. I'm doing this to build myself up, not to break myself down. I'm gonna work out to gain strength,
Yeah.
not to lose weight. That
Right.
could be like a side effect.
Right.
And I'm eating healthy, not to lose weight, but to nourish my cells, to nourish my mind, my body, and soul. And I feel like if you can really connect with your why, like we were talking with our group about, rather than adding years to your life, focus on adding life to your years. So
Love
don't
that.
don't make your diet or your lifestyle a prison where it's like I can't
Yeah.
do anything because I'm clinging so tightly to my
So
routines
rigidly.
and my meals and my things. Instead, like, allow it to free you.
Right.
And I feel like just feeling elevated, feeling motivated, feeling super like clear thinking
Yeah.
gives me that confidence I need to continue living this way, because before I was so uncertain, unsure. I felt like my life was out of control and the
Right.
world around me was out of control. So it was like compounding.
Yeah.
And when I took control of my own life and my own choices, because they are your choices, you're the only one that can truly take control of that.
Right.
I felt so empowered that all of the spinning whirlwind of chaos in the world around me started to at least slow down. I was able to get more of a bird's eye view of my life, of the world, and just felt so much more grounded and centered and closer to God, more connected too. So it's
Totally.
just,
That's what we talk a lot about, is that yes, we eat this way. We eat a whole food plant-based diet, but not so rigidly, not because it's a plant-based diet, not because someone just asked where do we get our scientific evidence. Dr. Greger, Dr. Esselstyn, a lot of these guys, we don't eat this way just because they say to, because the evidence says it's the best. We eat this way because, like Erin said, we literally feel energetically, spiritually elevated, right? I'll be 38 years old in a couple months. Yeah, just under 2 months. And I feel better than I did when I was 28. I might even feel better than I did when I was 18. That's not what everybody else is saying. I met a friend yesterday who suffered a heart attack 2 years ago in his mid-30s. You know, that's not the case for everybody. So that's why we eat the way we eat. You know, yes, we care about the environment. Yes, we care about animal welfare and all of these things. But ultimately, this is about elevating our lives. Like Erin said, adding, what was it? Not adding years to your life, but adding life to your years. We want to be fully alive, you know, and talking.
ideally you would get both, but
You do get both. You do get both. And, you know, talking about scripture, well, a pastor friend of mine always, actually, the pastor that I grew up with told me this, and then I've heard it reiterated from Father Bishop Barron. He's a Catholic bishop who has an awesome podcast. You know, whether you're Catholic or not, this dude is on point. In fact, he just was on Russell Brand's Instagram a couple days ago. So
Bishop Barron?
Bishop Barron was.
Wow.
Yeah, like my two favorite people. So anyway,
They're so
he said
opposite.
they're so opposite. He says these two guys that I really admire say a quote in Latin that I really love. I should probably get it tattooed on my chest or something. Gloria Dei homo vivens. The glory of God is man fully alive. So if you want to please God, if you want to live your life, it is be fully alive. Okay? Maybe you do that because you're so passionate about your work. Maybe you do that because you love nature or skydiving or whatever. In order to do all of these things, you must take care of yourself, take care of your health. And that's number one, right? You can't be fully alive if you aren't healthy, right? I mean, that's literal. That's literal. So yeah, I think that's why we eat the way we do and why we do. And yeah, to answer the question that person I just saw pop up ask, you know, Dr. Greger, who's been on our YouTube, has nutritionfacts.org. I mean, if there's one resource you need, go there. Go to nutritionfacts.org, and you'll find out all the answers to all the questions. You know, he's unbiased. He's
His website
unfunded.
is free. There's nothing sponsored about it.
He doesn't take payments, you know,
even for his books.
He doesn't take any profits from his books. The dude does unbiased, free research and shares the facts. And he happens to be on a plant-based diet. So I'm like, all right, I'll believe that, you know.
What
else do we got?
Did I move this a little bit?
Yeah,
Sorry.
what else do we got? I know we have so many.
High protein foods for kids and how to get them to eat it.
Yeah, tofu and soy milk, number one.
Super versatile. Make sure you buy organic.
Yeah, and there's a million things. We've got high protein videos on our YouTube channel.
Even if you're doing pasta, because what kid doesn't love pasta? We do
Noodles.
like either lentil, brown rice, quinoa, or chickpea pasta. They're so insanely high in protein and iron. Like it wouldn't even be a question in our minds, should we give them wheat pasta or these other options? The other options are light years
brown rice,
more
lentils,
nutritious.
So good.
It's just like the perfect vehicle to get these, you know, whole grains into their little bellies. And even just like our morning oatmeal, we will also add in a scoop of protein. It's super
for a little
clean,
vanilla
organic,
flavor,
safe, and
the kids
adds a
gobble
little
it up.
extra boost. But primarily the whole foods, and we just get really creative with it. And they love
Pasta,
hummus. I mean, it's chickpeas, you know, and
chickpeas
sometimes
are like
I'm
the best
like, Max,
protein source.
we have to check ourselves because it's like, Max, don't eat the whole thing of hummus. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's
Go ahead.
a whole bowl of chickpeas
Go ahead,
with healthy
buddy.
fats included.
Yeah.
So
it's so easy. I get more protein on a plant-based diet than I used to because my protein source used to be, you know, a piece of meat. And now my protein source is in the whole bowl. It's the lentils, it's the pasta, it's the beans. We throw a lot of beans, you know, in our pastas. And what I'll do is if like I put mushrooms and all these things in a pasta sauce, the kids will see it. Sometimes they eat it and if they're fine, but sometimes they're picky. So what I do is I take it, even the beans, I'll blend it. I'll puree the whole pasta sauce, beans and all.
we've got a white bean Alfredo sauce that's really good too.
I just made that one. The kids loved it. It's packed full of protein, iron, all these things. And I pour it back on their noodles and they think it's just red sauce because it's smooth and creamy and red. And they don't know that they're getting a belly full of protein.
I even laugh just thinking about like a simple peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Yeah.
Protein. I mean, peanut
seriously.
butter.
The bread we eat.
Ezekiel bread, I think, is like 5 grams per slice, and then you get 10 if you have 2 slices.
It's way more than I was getting when I was a kid.
And the jelly is like, if it's like a healthy jam with like whole fruits in it and things like that, or make your own raspberry chia jam. Like it's an actually healthy snack if you do it with the right version.
We've got a mac and cheese that we make with, in fact, the waffle and mac and cheese recipe are in one video. It's probably 2 or 3 years old, so you're gonna have to go back. This mac and cheese is like potatoes and carrots and all these vegetables blended up. It's pureed, and it's a super thick, creamy yellow cheese, you know, vegan cheese, but it's full of vegetables and protein. And yeah, so.
Jessica says, you are so inspiring to me. I watch your videos up and down when I need motivation.
Good.
And I feel you on that. I've got some favorites, like whether it's a favorite podcaster or a favorite YouTuber.
Yeah.
Just tuning in and hearing their voice, and like I've heard their story a million times, or I know what they're gonna talk about, and I know the answers to all of the things they're gonna say, but like it doesn't matter. It's just about that positive reinforcement.
Right.
We all need it, no matter who we are, and we've noticed that especially having small children now. It's just small positive reinforcements all the time, rather than like breaking them down or, you know, breaking yourself down. Build yourself up.
And let other people build you up.
Yeah.
We had a conversation with a friend, a coaching client. We've only talked to him once, but of course he's a friend already. He is a member, actually, of our membership already. He was asking us about his type 2 diabetes. He's, you know, frustrated with it. He wants to fix it. And so, of course, he reached out to us for motivation. We did Erin scheduled a 15-minute phone call. And then we got to thinking, and we're like, you know what? We only offer one opinion, but ask the group, and you'll get you could possibly get 400 responses, you know? And that, like you're saying, listening to us, listening to each other, don't be afraid to pop on a podcast, pop on a YouTube. Yes, join our membership, join somebody else's membership. Whatever you have to do to get that motivation, because if you're motivated and you're doing your best, you're going to motivate those around you, and that's how you change the world.
There's people from all walks of life. There's the 30-something young parent of small children. There's the 50-something struggling with menopause or weight gain. There's the triathlete, former addict.
Right.
It's just really interesting to hear so many people's stories and perspectives. So you'll find someone who you can really connect with in there.
We live in the information age, and social media is so cool because we can find people that we resonate with, right? Before, it used to only be, you only heard from people that made it, right? You only heard from celebrities, you only heard from professional athletes, whatever. And now we get to hear from everybody. You get to hear from the rock stars, the tattooed guys, the former addicts, even the current addicts, for crying out loud. For better or for worse, you get to hear from everybody now, and that, if you use it right, you can find your motivation. So thanks for saying that you're motivated by us. It energizes us to continue doing this. That means a lot. What else? I know there's so many.
Anna Celia, hi guys, greeting from Chile.
Nice.
Any tips on iron deficiency? I feel that I'm eating correctly, but I suffer from iron deficiency from time to time.
Yep.
This is the most common deficiency, whether you are plant-based or not.
Right.
Truly. Even my midwife had mentioned, there aren't too many plant-based eaters who come through, but I've noticed that the meat eaters are just as low in iron, especially during pregnancy, when your baby is literally acting sort of like a parasite, taking everything from your body.
Right.
But just in general, I know a lot of people can struggle with this, and there's a lot of things that you can do, but you've probably heard them all because you've probably Google searched, and
heard from us.
If you combine vitamin C rich foods with iron rich foods, that can help aid in the absorption. Focusing really heavily on legumes beans, lentils
are
quinoa.
high in iron. Greens
And also,
can
I
be
know
high
a
in
big
iron.
kicker is caffeine or coffee, and especially not having it with your mealtime. Kick it if you can, but if you can't, just have it separate from your meal times, because that can inhibit absorption of iron and other nutrients. And then
supplement if you have to supplement.
That's what I was gonna say next. Is if you have to, get on a good quality iron supplement.
We have a
until
dropper.
You can get your levels back up.
Yeah, we have a dropper that we use occasionally. Erin's been using it more, again, with pregnancy and postpartum. There's a lot of blood, volume issues.
Usually it'll shoot things right back up where they need to be, and then you can kind of go off of it.
Yeah, and vitamin D. Someone just said, we just had our doctor friend who's local in Florida with us, Dr. Scott, came on and did a talk with our membership group 2 Fridays ago, last Friday, and he does a lot of research. He's a plant-based guy, and he says vitamin D. Vitamin D will help with everything, including iron. So
And also just really focusing on eating the whole fresh foods, because the processed stuff is just going to cause more digestive distress, and you don't want leaky gut and things like that can also make it difficult.
Someone just said she was anemic he or she was anemic their whole life, and then went on a plant-based diet, and poof, it was gone. So you never know, right? You never know. Even though it's the thing with meat, people say that animal iron is more bioavailable, which I think that word is overused. But you never know. We're all different, and we all absorb things differently. And like Erin said, eat your beans, your grains, your lentils with some vitamin C rich foods, even just some fruit. Put some fruit on your oatmeal. Put a squeeze of lime or lemon on your Indian.
Bell pepper in your chili or your soup or stew.
That increases the iron absorption.
Squeezing lemon on top of your salad.
Totally.
Because those greens have the iron as well.
Right.
And here's another good question I saw. Sandra asked, can food help with body pain? Not sure if that makes sense. Yeah, definitely. So like my dad having arthritis in his hands because he gardens and works and all of this. And I'm like, Dad, the most anti-inflammatory diet is eating just whole plant foods, like
Yeah.
low inflammation. If you're eating a anti-inflammatory diet, which a plant-based diet is, then you're going to suffer from less chronic pain.
Yeah. Definitely.
If it's a joint issue, then definitely like the omega-3 fatty acids can be really beneficial.
Yep.
But I've noticed even with recovery time, if I do a hard workout and my muscles are sore and fatigued,
Yeah.
I'm good to go the next day.
I'm a never sore, and you
Yeah.
know, now I'm gonna probably be sore next time I work out. But even yesterday, I worked out with a buddy, and he had me bench pressing more than I've ever. Honestly, I maxed out yesterday, and it was so fun and exciting. And I was like, I'm gonna be sore tomorrow. Nothing, you know. So either I wasn't working as hard as I thought, or I'm just a rapid recoverer, and that honestly is the answer, because I can lift. I've been lifting my legs, doing squats, leg day, you know, people always laugh about. You know, I'll be sore once in a while, and I like to be sore once in a while. But even when I am, I recover super fast, and it's because of our anti-inflammatory diet.
That reminds me of something else, or someone else on here mentioned, how did you do it after pregnancy, not working out for 6 weeks or whatever? And she's like, I haven't worked out in so long, and I did a leg day and my legs have been sore for a week.
Yeah.
How do you do it? And it's like,
Yeah.
you should honestly, you know, from time to time, it's okay to feel that soreness or
Yeah,
that
it's
tiredness and fatigue, because that's a sign that you're growing. And even
Right.
today in spin class, like, it's really hard when you're next to other people working hard and you see someone that's faster than you and you feel like bad that you can't keep up, because it's like a beat-based ride. We're
Yeah.
pedaling to the beat of the music, and then I get so tired at some point and I'm like, she's still doing it and I'm not, you know. It's
Right.
that comparison thing. But she's like, if you're tired, sit down.
Right.
It's a good thing. It means you're doing it right.
Right.
And so that actually disarmed me a little bit, and it actually made me feel really good, because I'm like, I'm working so hard
Right.
that I have to sit down. That means I'm doing something right. I'm pushing myself.
Totally.
So it's okay. It's okay to be sore. It's okay to be tired. You should. I like sometimes having that hurt so
Love it.
good. You know,
I love
like,
being sore, because it makes me feel like I know I'm growing. You
and
know.
then it's a good night's sleep will seriously do the trick if you're.
And stretching and foam rolling. I do it. In fact, I haven't since we've been home, because I don't know. Your mom probably does have a foam roller actually in the basement. I need to go get it. And when we're at home, I do maybe not an hour, but if I have an hour, I'll spend an hour on the floor every evening. We'll turn on a movie, you know, whatever, stretching and using the foam roller, you know. And then let's say you are super sore with leg day, stretch that evening, that afternoon, that night, and then the next day, do a long walk, because you need to mitigate that lactic acid buildup. So if you sit and do nothing after you're really sore, you're gonna make it worse. What you need to do is you need to flush that lactic acid, and you do that with a less intense but still targeted workout. So I'll walk, if I have really sore legs, I'll do an incline walk on a treadmill the next day. It's not as intense, but I'm still targeting those sore muscles, and that'll flush the lactic acid buildup and actually speed up recovery. So, and
all right, we've got.
one last thing, you can work out when you're sore. I just read a big study about lifting when you're sore, and you can. Science actually shows the more you hit the muscle, the more you will grow. Now you need days off for sure, but if you're really, really sore, just make sure that if you can still do the movements with good form, you're okay to work out. It's the risk of having bad form and hurting your back or something. It's not a bad thing to train when you're sore. It's honestly a good thing, according to the study I just read. So.
I just realized we've been going for slightly over an hour, so
Yeah.
maybe we'll do just a couple more rapid fire question and answers and wrap it up, because I hear the kids
And I'm getting
down there.
I'm getting roasted in the sun right here.
Yeah. So, is there a baby formula when breast milk is not an option? From Mac. Honestly, we've never really had to look into it, but I would definitely recommend looking at. There's a Facebook group called Human Milk for Human Mothers, where
Human babies.
Yeah.
Human milk for human babies.
Where you can find like a local one near you, and there's women who have abundance or have milk that they're trying to donate. So you could do that route.
You did that with Max. You donated.
I donated to someone here.
Yeah.
Or they're also milk banks, but they pool many people's milk together and pasteurize it and then dole it out. So I would say that the human milk for human babies is the best bet. Or for formula, I think that there are some that are organic and like, I'm not sure if they're pea or I think soy protein is typically what they are, soy-based. But I would look into plant-based juniors. They would be the people to look to for that
Yeah.
kind of advice.
Andrea asked about gallbladder attacks on this lifestyle. To be honest, Erin and I don't know much about gallbladder personally.
But my dad had thought I might need to have mine out that time. It was like slightly after COVID when I had such intense gut pain. Yeah, there's a really cool little bug.
I did just hear from somebody
oil.
That's,
I think oil is the biggest thing.
A lot of like saturated fat and oil can cause it. So similar to a conversation we had with our type 2 diabetic friend, a different type 2 diabetic friend in our membership yesterday, cut oil, cut the excess saturated fat, and that should help your gallbladder. Let's see, Urban Pharmacy, is that our friend?
I almost did this gallbladder flush cleanse thing, but I didn't.
Opinions on the Blue Zone diet, alcohol, and tips for better sleep. No alcohol. Alcohol is the worst thing for sleep by far. I know from experience because I've been enjoying drinks with my friends while we've been home. I don't drink at all in Florida. Never have any drinks, so I go months without drinking at all, and then I come home and Erin's dad will hand me a beer, or we'll go golfing and my friend will hand me a beer, and I allow myself to do that. I don't have problems with it, but it ruins my sleep. No matter what, 1-2 drinks ruins my sleep. So definitely, avoid alcohol if you're having trouble with sleep. And then the Blue Zone diet. I'm not 100% sure what the Blue Zone diet is. I don't know.
We are huge fans of the Blue Zones.
We love Dan Buettner and the Blue Zones. I don't know if it includes animal products or not, but it's better. It's going to be better than most.
His big thing is beans being like the predominant staple in like all of the Blue Zones, which we love beans. We cook ours from dry. The canned ones definitely make you gassy. The dry ones don't.
Okay, 2 more questions here. Do you still crave meat after 17 years without it? I still crave. I'm not sure what that is. Something rolls and bra.
I feel like a lot of times it's like a.
That's Sandra again. I think she's the South African. Those sound like South African foods we don't know about. But yeah, no, I don't really crave it ever.
And if
I do, there's things like the Impossible Burgers, which I don't recommend. They're kind of mystery meats. But we were in the airport one day and it was my only vegan option, and so I got one of the Impossible Burgers, and it was pretty darn good. It tasted like an old school cheeseburger.
I think a lot of people think that they're craving it, but what they're really craving is like the memory tied to it.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, like this was my mom's that we had every holiday, like Thanksgiving, for example. So you just have to recreate those memories with healthy dishes. Bring your own, but.
Okay, last question. Let's see. Oh wait, maybe that was it. We get some good feedback for each other here. I love that you guys support each other and comment. Susan said fresh sour cherries. Yeah, you can't beat cherries. All the stone fruits. When we were in Italy, peaches, cherries, apricots, nectarines, even prunes, like so juicy and so good for sure.
Do you want to take the hand off with this cute little critter?
With this little critter guy?
He's been going between my hands for like the past.
What is he? He looks
like a
little spider.
It looks kind of like a tiny walking stick or something.
Here's the camera.
Or a tiny praying mantis or something.
I don't know.
He's
you guys
cute.
Probably can't see it. All right, guys. We've been going for an hour and 10 minutes, just about, and it's so much fun.
Be sure
to do this. We again, remember, we do this every Friday in our membership. So if you guys dig the live chat, but you want to be on a Zoom, like we can see your face and hear your voice type of thing, join the membership. It's linked below. Check out the bundle. $50 gets you more recipes than you'll ever need. We go there for inspiration, and you get entered to win a $500 gift from us, your choice blender, juicer. Love the community we've created here. energized to go out and do a Saturday. Much love, you guys.
Next weekend we'll be back at it with our regular scheduled programming. We'll
We
have
should
another
do a
YouTube
let's do
video.
a Costco food haul soon.
Yep.
That'll be a good one.
All
Another
right,
one.
guys.
All right.
Bye.
Much
Thanks
love.
for watching.
Now we need to figure out how to end this. We should figure that out before.
A graceful ending.
Now you can see up our noses.
X.